LBC's correspondent Rachael Venables joins me now. Rachael, you've got this story about cladding.
Yes, yet another story about this crisis in confidence over building safety post-Grenfell, and more signs that it just continues to spiral. And this is a scandal that has already trapped millions of people we know in worthless and potentially dangerous homes with cladding. And a new study out suggests that cladding safety forms, a new study of cladding safety forms, suggests that more than a quarter of them are being signed by individuals who aren't qualified to do the work. And these are external wall systems forms, EWS1s they're also known as, and they were introduced in the aftermath of the Grenfell disaster to assess if a building's wall system is safe. Now, these cost thousands of pounds to acquire, and without one, a flat is effectively deemed worthless. And I've been speaking to people who are still unable to sell their flats, even seemingly after getting it signed off as safe, over fears from lenders that the work has not been done by a suitably qualified person. Now, Lisa's partner has been desperately trying to sell their flat so that they can move into a family home for more than a year now. They were thrilled and relieved to receive this EWS1 certificate at the start of 2020. It was a pass, but it still wasn't enough.
We were told at the time that it was a third party. We tried several lenders, they rejected it. We lost that buyer, found another buyer. Again, several lenders rejected the form. We're now on to our third buyer, and it's not till January 2021 that the Housing Association actually said to us, you shouldn't be using it.
Now, the strict guidance demands, given how important this is, understanding if a building with cladding is or isn't safe, that these forms have to be signed by either a chartered or an incorporated engineer or equivalent. There's only a really small pool of people, actually, only a few hundred in this country who are actually qualified to do the work. In Lisa's case, not only had it not been signed by an engineer, it was actually just signed by a regular employee of the Housing Association who just put his name to the certificate. And they tried and failed, as you heard there, for months and months to sell their home with it. Now, when that was finally acknowledged, the Housing Association paid for a second certificate. Remember, these cost thousands of pounds to receive, but the second qualifications weren't good enough either. And in the past few days, Lisa tells me their third sale has just fallen through.
It's cost a lot of money through solicitors. Obviously, to begin with, we've gone through 3 sales now so far. Wasted over a year of our life, stress. It's just all we think about.
But this isn't a one-off, far from it. Matt Hodges-Long is co-founder of the Building Safety Register, and they've done a survey of more than 80 of these documents, finding a staggering amount of the signatories are not qualified enough to do the work.
In our data set, 28% have what we classify as an invalid signatory. That's even more people that can't move, can't remortgage as a result of spending a lot of money on a survey that actually isn't worth anything in the eyes of the bank.
And for this crisis, he blames a mixture of confusing guidance, this very small pool of people who are able to do the work, and the huge sums of money that are at stake.
We've reached the point of chaos based on really loose guidance. Has been real confusion over who's qualified to sign a B grade EWS1 form, so it's either B1 or B2. And a number of companies that perhaps shouldn't be doing this work have come into the market because they can exploit the weakness of the guidance that's been written by the RICS. It's a great opportunity for companies to come in and make money.
Now, in a statement, the RICS, the Royal Institute of Chartered Surveyors, say that they have been made aware of unqualified people signing off these all-important EWS1 forms. They say they condemn anyone using the situation for their own gain, with potentially dangerous consequences, of course, for residents. And they ask anyone with information of this happening to take it to them and trading standards.
Rachael Venables, thank you so much for bringing us that update on cladding. There, but for the grace of God go I. These poor people who were promised that we would be returned to a degree of normality after the Grenfell fire, that they would be able to move on, not living properties with that cladding, and be able to move on with their lives, and still struggling now effectively with scams about whether their buildings are safe or not. Thank you so much, Rachael.